Hey, hi, hello everyone, and welcome to A Typical Table, where we get the audio visual right the first time, every time. If you're tuning in tonight or today, you know that this is Linx, Magic is Wild. I am your Dungeon Master, Momo Iscariot. I am a first-time DM, and I am nervous as hell. I am joined here tonight by my wonderful players. How about everyone introduce ourselves? So, Lainey. Oh, you're muted.
Hi, I'm Lainey, at Lainey Bugaboo. My pronouns are she, they. That's me.
Kenna.
Hi, I'm Kenna, handle at Kenna the Vampire Slayer. My pronouns are she, they.
Chino.
Hi, I'm Chino. My handle is at Pototopitunga. My pronouns are he, him.
TX Watson.
Hi, I'm TX Watson. Most pronouns are fine for me. I'm TX Watson almost everywhere. And I'm also an admin for the Online Creators Association, which is official Toka at TikTok and most places.
And my friend who knows a little bit too much about pop culture, Bobby.
Hi, I'm Bobby. I'm the afternoon special pretty much everywhere, but Twitter, over there, it's at Hi, I'm Bobby. My pronouns are she, her. And by the time you're seeing this, season 2 of the Hi, I'm Bobby podcast should be out and found wherever fine podcasts are sold.
Magnificent. And lastly, my friend, my DM mentor, the person whose fault this all is, our producer, Adamelia Som, who is backstage right now and off screen, but is here and present in all of our hearts. Throughout this campaign, you'll hear music donated by professional composer Jake Sidwell, and if you love the character art, check out our character designer at WinxClubSilver_ on Instagram. And last, but definitely not least, this campaign was made possible through the kindness of our supporters on Ko-fi. Thank you. And now you will get into it. Fade to black, fade to black, fade to black. Long ago, in the magical realm of Alakazam, a chaos demon wreaked havoc in the capital city of the universe, Abra. The Linx, powerful beings trained to maintain the flow of magic in the realm, were able to stop it, but not without their own losses. The Battle of Chaos ended in an explosion that killed the Chaos Demon and the Linx of Dynamo Blossom. This set off a chain of events that would be felt across the universe, in the form of unprecedented wild magic surges. Greatly weakened after the final battle and the loss of their dear friend, their surviving Linx sought out successors to aid in the fight against the darkness as their numbers dwindled. The search for worthy successors remained unsuccessful for 500 years, with only one Linx remaining. The fate of the universe lies with a group of prospective heroes from all over the realm. Our story begins in a new and improved Abra, a bustling metropolis surrounded by miles of lush flower fields, with a city in celebration welcoming a new generation of Linx. We go now to one of the main festivities of the Linx Festival, Linx live on stage. An actress twirls a star staff and holds one last note. The crowd cheers as curtains fall and a sign written in smoke forms on center stage, reading intermission. Some people shuffle out to grab snacks, but still sitting in the audience, front and center, is a glowing girl. Lainey, please name and describe your character and maybe tell us what's on her mind.
Okay. So Cassiopeia Sterling, she goes by Cassie, is a very pretty young Azumar. In her early 20s, she has this very, very long strawberry blonde hair that is really about as like pink as you can get without having dyed it. Very, very blue eyes. Pale skin that, again, kind of glows, gives off this very soft ambient light. She's wearing very loose-fitting clothes, very long skirt, very flowy blouse. All her clothes seem to be homemade, upcycled material, that kind of stuff. All kinds of bits and baubles on her. She is a Twilight Domain Cleric from Celestine. She used to be a Cleric of Estrella, but there was a bit of an incident a few years back. left her on kind of shaky ground with Estrella. And since then, she's kind of been, rediscovering herself in the mountains. So this is kind of like her first time back in a really busy city. So she's both nervous, but also very eager and determined to prove herself and like how much she's grown.
I love that for her. You see sitting next to her is Andromeda Sterling, but she's trying out Andy these days. She has blonde hair with a slight pink hue to it, as if it was once pink, but it washed out. And she's wearing an outfit that you, Cassie, recognize as your old clothes from when you used to live at home. She like leans over to you, clapping at the intermission, and says, like this was a great show. It's a great show. Um, but is it a little bit insensitive to have a musical about real life events? People died. I don't know how historically accurate this is.
Well, I thought it was a nice way to like honor them. It's important to like, remember history.
On that, your father, Orion, he has thinning chestnut hair and a well-maintained beard, and your mother, Karina, has like crisp chin-length blonde bob. They're both dressed in business professional attire for some reason, while your sister and yourself are dressed casually like everyone else in the audience. Your mother leans over you to rest her hand on Andy's thigh, or not thigh, like knee, and ask, "Oh dear, we're gonna go get snacks. Do you want anything?" And Andy just like looks to you and it's like, I don't really want anything. Do you want anything?"
No, I'm good. Thanks for the offer, Mom.
It's like, "Oh, like no problem, dear. We'll be right back." And they leave, and as they exit, a tall, muscular woman steps with deep brown skin. She steps out into the center of the, I guess, like I would say stage, and she taps a mic. It has like a bit of feedback. She has this ageless face. She could be 30, she could be 65, and extremely long, wavy black hair braided into a sick mohawk. You recognize her as Rosa Longbow, Miss Abra. Um, I'm your newly crowned Miss Abra Rosa Longbow, here to announce this year's intermission competition. It's just a fun thing we do here to keep the energy up between acts. This year, we have an archery competition. The curtains on stage pull back to reveal a long range archery setup. Do we have any skilled marksmen in the crowd? On that, Andy's hand shoots up and she grabs your hand and starts waving them both like violently
Andy,
to get the
Andy, no,
tension.
Andy,
Like, "Ooh, ooh, me, ooh,
Andy,
me."
no, stop. I don't.
Let's see the two little eager beagers in the front row. Come on up, come on up. What's your name? Where you from? And she hands the Rosa Longbow hands the mic to you, Cassie, first.
Uh, Hi, I'm Cassie from Celestine. And she just shoves the mic into Andy's hands.
Andy takes the mic like a lot more confident, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Andy Sterling from Celestine. I'm here with my sister Cassie. She's going to be the new Lynx representing our homeworld." And the crowd like claps. And it's like says there's some like murmurs of "Ooh, ah, wow, the Lynx of Celestine." It's like, "Oh, the new Lynx of Celestine. How are you feeling today?" And she hands the mic to you.
Uh, I'm great.
Like, okay, that's enough of that. Well, if you're just joining us here, folks, the name of the game is Archery. Clear your targets as fast as possible and win prizes courtesy of our sponsors. And there's like interns that come out from backstage and hand you like a red bow and hand Andy a blue bow and kind of push you towards the target stations. So, how we are going to play this in real life is we're going to use our dex modifiers, and whoever rolls the highest takes the round. And there's going to be 3 rounds. So, are you ready for this, Lainey?
Yep, I got my like little galaxy dice I picked for Cassie.
That's so cute. And we're rolling d20s, just double checking.
Yep.
All right, round 1, start.
Ooh, that's a 15 for Cassie.
All right, that's a 14 for Andy.
Ooh, close.
So, confident in your skills as a cleric, you've been out in the mountains, you've been hunting, you've got this in the bag. You clear your 10 targets within 4 seconds, and Andy is just rounding out hers as the bell goes off. Oh, congratulations, Cassie Sterling, the new Linx of Celestine, courtesy of our sponsor HeroAid, a potion of heroism. When a monster's got you down, fight on with HeroAid. Get 10 temporary hit points for 1 hour and take that monster down. We're going into round two, folks. I'm sure you're sitting in your seats eager. Round two
Ooh,
is okay.
that's a 7 for Cassie.
That is an 18 for Andy.
Ooh,
So round two, I think
yikes.
Cassie's a bit cocky, feeling pretty good about herself. But Andy comes out of nowhere and tries this new technique she's been working on by firing 4 arrows at once and clears her set of 20 targets in about 10 seconds while you're still maybe at target number 15 when that buzzer goes off.
No, of course she does.
Like, oh, that's gotta hurt. But congratulations, Andy Sterling, winner of round two. Thanks to our sponsor, Floramora Cosmetics, you have won a new look potion. Swish up your look with a new look potion. Simply set your intention to whatever color your heart desires and glug, glug, glug. Enjoy your new hair color. Effect lasts for 1 day and 1 day only, folks. So if you like it, run on down to our nearest Floramora for their color match hair dye. And you see that she accepts the potion from the intern and drinks it right away, and her hair turns this really beautiful strawberry blonde color, and she looks at you and she's like, oh my god, look, don't we match?
Of course she does. Yeah, Andy, you look great.
Like, that's gotta hurt for the Linx of Celestine, but we all love an underdog. We all love a comeback, folks. So let's see if she can take it all in round three. All right,
Please.
round three.
Please. I'm begging that you rolled bad. 7 again.
That is a 21 for Andy.
God.
Ooh. Going into this round three, a little bit shaken, lost your kind of ground, but you're fairly confident that you can pull off what Cassie did in round two, but like a motherfucker. You try to load your bow with 8 arrows to fire off at your 30 targets. As you do that, you see Cassie is attempting the same thing. You close your eyes, she closes her eyes and fires. The buzzer goes off. Not sure who won, you open your eyes, all except about 50% of your arrows have hit a target, while every single one of hers has connected. I'm like, ooh, that's not looking good for the Linx of Celestine, but congratulations to Andy Sterling, our grand prize winner, the winner of the intermission competition. And you look out into the crowd a little embarrassed, and you see that your parents are going wild, like cheering Andy on, proud as can be. Like, a donation from our friends deep down in Atlantis. Quench your thirst with a decanter of endless water. With its state-of-the-art 3-function system, stream, fountain, and geyser, there's a setting to fit even your thirstiest friend. Perfect for an adventurer. And she hands it to Andy. They take their pictures. Flowers are falling onto the stage. Interns quickly sweep it up. And we're going to skip forward like 10 seconds to backstage with you and Andy.
You just see Cassie is like back there, like mumbling self-affirmations to herself, like, I am brave, I'm strong, I can overcome any challenge. I'm brave, I'm strong, just over and over again, like just trying to like, I'm centered, I'm calm, I'm fine.
Andy approaches you and she says, that was a crazy competition. I think we both did really well, but I guess like You weren't here, so all I had to do was practice firing by myself. But I was thinking about it, and I want you to have this. And she hands you the decanter of endless water.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't need it. I'm not going to be a lynx, and you're going to be doing adventures all over, and I'm sure you might not have access to water all the time. So take it and use it well.
I
I'm
will.
proud of you, sis.
I'm proud of you too. You did really well out there.
And on that, you see this envelope kind of come out of nowhere and plant itself directly in front of your face.
Oh.
Message for Cassiopeia Sterling of Celestine. Please accept.
Yeah, yes, I accept.
Much gratitude. Proceed to the it opens up and it says, proceed to the commons area for parade preparations at your earliest convenience. This map is for your eyes only. With gratitude and grace, Laurel, Linx of Abracadabra Alakazam.
Why is
And
this envelope adorable?
and it bursts into a cloud of light, and you see that a glowing path forms in front of you, leading outside of the theater.
I guess that means I gotta go. I'll
Yeah,
talk to you later, okay?
yeah, we'll see you at the parade. I'll tell mom and dad where you went. So
Okay,
bye. See you
thanks.
later.
See ya.
And we are on, and we are off to our next location. Let me just pull it up real quick. That's on me. Oh, down a crowded two-way street, food stalls compete with clothing stores for customers as a small family of tourists make their way up the wrong way of foot traffic. We see an older human male holding the hands of three small children as they walk in a single file line following a flaming ponytail. Chino, would you be so kind as to name and describe your character for us?
Sure, yeah. My character is Smo. His first name is Smo. Last name is so it's just Smoke altogether. He's from the planet Dynamo. He's a fire genasi. He's in the city with his three sisters and human dad, and his mom is back on the planet. Do I keep going?
Yeah, you haven't said the class or
Oh,
yeah.
I'm nervous too. I'm sorry. He's a wild magic barbarian.
Oh, super cool, super great for that. And you see your dad is trying to keep up with you. He's like, Smo, it's hard to keep up with you when you're going so fast. Girls, can we just behave for just 5 seconds? 5 seconds, please. I'm begging you. And you see your sisters are kind of playing like skip rope with their arms and really not concerned. One of them is like, I want to go home. I don't like loud places. I want to go home. I don't like it here.
Picks up all three of them, one on shoulders, one on the back, and the scared one in front of my face, and I give her a forehead kiss.
Aww. Like, okay, it's a little cold. Do they have jackets here? I don't like the cold.
We gotta find a jacket. We gotta find a clothing store.
As you are walking through this, like, I guess, market area, you see that there is one shop open that has parkas out front.
We immediately go that way.
Like, as you go through the door, the bell dings, and a shop worker pokes her head up from behind the counter. Like, hi, welcome. How can I help you?
We're looking for some clothing for my babies. They're gonna get cold.
Like your babies?
Yes, all three of them. My baby and the old man trailing behind us. I guess him too.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Would you be requiring a jacket here as well?
What?
A jacket? Do you need one as well, or?
Ma'am, we don't have those. I just want my kids to not be cold, please.
Oh, okay. Let's see. You go through the clearance rack. How much are you looking to spend today?
Huh?
How much are you looking to spend?
I don't remember, like 10 or so minutes. I kind of want to be on my way.
We actually require money here. So, like, how much do you?
Oh.
Yeah.
So listen, I don't usually pull this card, right? But I'm the Links of Dynamo. So if we could, you know what I'm saying?
I see the Links of Dynamo.
Small exception. Just this once. Listen, my sisters, they're not having a good time. You know, this one, she's on the verge of
Your
like a
sisters,
mental
you said they were
breakdown.
your children.
They are my children.
Okay, Links of Dynamo. Unfortunately, I don't know if we can help you. And I think fairly often we get Links of Dynamo here as well. I mean, we just had a
I mean,
couple
are they
come in
usually
this
this
morning.
cute though?
Yeah. Make a persuasion check
Okay.
with
Where is it?
disadvantage because you're
Okay, I got
not winning her over.
Okay, wait, what do you mean with I did
So roll 2 d20s and add your charisma modifier.
I thought I
But
just clicked
take the lowest
persuasion.
number.
Okay, so 2d20s. So okay, the first one is 18.
And the second one?
16.
Oh. She looks at you and she's just like, well, I always had a weakness for pretty faces. All right, take these. Take these. You didn't get them from me. I didn't see this. This didn't happen.
It never happened. Thank you very
And
much.
you see, as you turn to leave with your coats, a message, like in an envelope, is right in front of you. Message for Smoke of Dynamo. Please accept.
I accept.
Much gratitude. Please proceed to the Commons area for parade preparations at your earliest convenience. With gratitude and grace, Linx of Dynamo, Linx of Laurel, Linx of Abracadabra Alakazam.
Picks up 3 sisters and follows the road.
So we are off and running. And as to a different scene now, as droves of patrons make their way towards the Linx parade, eagerly clopping up the uneven cobblestone road towards Abra's main tourist attraction, the Abra Flower Fields, is a satyr. TX, would you be so kind as to name and describe your character and maybe tell us what's on their mind?
Yeah, I'm playing Pete Bog of Twirling, Pete to friends, and we're all friends here. Pete is not used to being in such an urban area. He has lived in a forest for the past all of his life. This is his first time experiencing pavement, and it's not good on his hooves. And he just wants to go and spend some time in the flower field before he has to go and do Linx stuff. Pete is a satyr, a circle of the forest druid, and just really vastly prefers being out around nature to being
in a city. As you near the flower field, the scent of the flowers is starting to get like a little overwhelming. And you notice that there's a line forming. And it says tickets. Do you proceed to the ticket line or do you try to enter the flower fields?
I'm gonna go for the flower fields.
So as you walk towards the field, as you're about to hit the grass, you are met with an invisible wall. Like, oh, excuse me, excuse me. We do require tickets to enter the parks.
I don't have one of those.
I mean, we can get you a ticket. We have, let me see, and she clicks on the attendant clicks on their little like keyboards. Like, we have an open reservation um at 2 p.m. Thursday.
Do you have anything now?
Unfortunately, we do not. This is the peak season, and everyone wants to take pictures with the flowers. Well, not so many people want to actually pick flowers because you need like a license for that. It's kind of difficult to attain here. Um, but it's unfortunately, I don't think we have any open tickets today. It's a very popular attraction.
Do you make exceptions for druids?
Uh, it depends on what kind of druid.
Stumpwood?
I mean, Stumpwood druids typically have like a open reservation specifically for this time. I can check if your name is on the list. May I have your name, please?
Peat Bog Twirling?
Pete Bog O Twirling. Is there an apostrophe in O Twirling?
Yes.
Okay,
After the O.
there we go. And it seems like you are on the list. We can let you in. You just cannot pick any flowers. You do need a license for that. We do suggest for those entering the park a donation of 5 silver.
I only have gold. Will you take that?
We'll take gold, yes.
Okay. How many silver to a gold?
I actually have no idea.
10 silver to a gold.
Okay, thank you.
Pete donates 1 gold piece.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your time.
And he heads into the field and just like finds a kind of like, I assume there aren't too many like super quiet spots because there are a lot of people in here just to take photos, but finds just a quiet spot to like sit among the flowers and like just sort of like takes in the smells and looks around on the ground, sees if you can find any cool rocks.
Let's see. As you sit on the ground, your hand actually does uproot one of the flowers. And you notice that it seems to be the soil is very, very dry. And those roots don't seem actually make a nature check for the roots.
17.
Ooh. So the roots seem to be just like purely for structure. Like it does you look at the roots and you don't think that they have seen moisture in a very long time. Yeah, that's what you get from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I
And I
I'm
want
trying
you.
to
You
decide
wanted
which
to
of
look
my
for some rocks.
I
One
did
second.
also want to look for a rock, yes. Can I cast Wither and Bloom to heal the
Oh, it's not dead. It's a bloomed plant. It just looks like that.
Yeah, no, Wither and Bloom is just like an area of effect spell that
Oh,
allows
okay.
me to heal or harm creatures in a 60-foot radius. I'm asking if I can like adapt it for the purpose of like bringing some life to these, bringing some comfort to these plants.
You attempt it, nothing happens.
All right, I will mark off a level 2 spell slot. And yeah, can I look for a rock?
Yes, you can. Roll a D100 for me.
65.
65. Let's see. You find you reach your hand into like the dirt as you like kind of accidentally uproot this flower, and you find this like key, and it's made entirely of like black granite. You're not quite sure what it's for.
Cool. I stick it in my bag.
Yeah. And as you stick it into your bag, An envelope appears directly in front of you, and it has the same message as before. I don't think you want me to read it again.
I accept.
And as you accept this, the envelope bursts into light, and a path leading deep into the city again illuminates it before you.
I sigh and follow the path.
Oh, that's going to be a long walk for our friend Pete, but deeper into the city. At this tall tower we know as the Abra Observatory. It's a tower made of smooth, polished granite speckled with gold. Vines trail up the sides of the structure all the way to the top, where a temple rests. Five massive statues of the previous Linx obscure the otherwise 360 view of the city. An elevator bell dings as a chipper dwarf tour guide wearing an AKA walking towards Polo exits. He's got wavy copper hair with forget-me-nots braided into his long beard, and he hands out pamphlets to his group as they exit the elevator. There's never a cloud in the sky here in Abra, so we get this breathtaking view all year round. He launches into a passionate speech about the history of the observatory, captivating his audience, all except for one person. Kenna, can you please name and describe your character? Tell us what they're up to.
So I am Iki Awful. Iki is a wood elf, an inquisitive rogue from the realm of Hair Verd. She's perhaps not the most focused person to ever walk the earth, and right now she's pretty hungry, and she's wondering exactly how much change these people have in her pockets or in their pockets.
All right. I'm gonna need you to, if you want to pickpocket a couple of these folks,
I do.
I'm going to need you to roll stealth and sleight of hand.
Will do. So that's a 7.
Ooh. For stealth, and what's for sleight of hand?
Wait, start. A 19.
Ooh. Okay, so on that 7, you see this like group. It seems to be like a small family of like 2 troll guys and their 2 children. And as you like approach them, you see that the kids take notice of you, the adults don't, and they're just like, "Hi, what are you doing?"
I am just trying to get closer to the tour guide. Don't you worry about me, little guys.
Like, okay. And as they turn away, you kind of like go into their pockets and take whatever is in it. And you find a deck of playing cards.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Do you want to keep going?
Absolutely.
All right, again, roll stealth and sleight of hand.
So it's a 2, but I have a +4, so it's a 6.
Oh no. And that was for stealth and for sleight of hand?
13.
Okay. So, you spot a centaur, not in your tour group, but in a different tour group. He's kneeling in front of a statue of who you recognize as the Linx Estrella. She's gripping her signature star staff. The whole statue kind of shimmers with stardust and has like an ambient glow to it. The centaur places his hands together and casts a light cantrip at the base of the statue. When he does, the staff of the statue glows brightly. And as he's distracted by the light, you reach into his bag and pull out 5 silver.
Nice. I will absolutely pocket that.
Do you want to go again?
Yeah, let's do one more.
One more. Okay. Again, stealth deception. Stealth sleight of hand.
Oh, bless America. 15.
Okay, 15 for stealth. What for sleight of hand?
And for sleight of hand... Ha 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 ha. 10.
So we're gonna pause on that, because for your next target, you spot this girl in like this long purple dress across the room. She seems to have been in your original tour group, but you don't remember seeing her. Um, and you see that the tour group has now shifted over to a statue that's made of pure silver, and aside from a wooden arm and a wooden leg, as the wind blows, it's almost like the statue is singing somehow. I don't know what the mechanics are for that. And you see your tour guide is just like, that will be the end of the tour. If anyone has any questions, I'll be here to answer them. Otherwise, I want to thank you for joining me on AKA Walking Tours. And as the tour group kind of disperses, a girl steps forward. Bobby, can you introduce your character, please?
Of course I can. So I am Lavira Atlanti. She's really excited to try out Levi with friends because she's really never had those
Yeah.
before. She hails from the kingdom of Romilly. She's technically a princess, though she doesn't really like that title. She is a Kalishtar and she is a Fantasia sorcerer. It means a lot to her to be a Linx because she is a person that feels like she has a lot to prove, and she really takes up the mantle and finds it like very, very important, not only for her kingdom, but for her own kind of self-development. So she's happy to be here.
As you approach the tour guide, they say, "Oh, hi. You have any questions? How can I help you?"
Yeah, a great tour. I just want to say it was
Thank you.
awesome tour.
It's honestly a passion of mine.
I can tell. You're really good at it. You're really good. Yeah. Do you mind telling me about one of these statues? I was kind of in the back and I couldn't hear you all the way.
Oh, this statue.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is of the Lynx whistle, originally hailing from Romilly. But what a lot of people might not know is that she preferred to not return home on her off time. She actually would vacation fairly often in the Whistling Winds. It was on one of her rest periods there that the winds, well known for having like regular strong seasons, were particularly strong, and she could not return to her immediate duties of being a Lynx. And so it was more of an extended rest period that kind of turned into forever. When the wind never died down, it just got worse, and it still remains that strong to these days.
And she kind of like mutters to herself, I didn't know there was a Lynx from Romilly. And she kind of like jolts herself back. She's like, oh, I am also from Romilly, so
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm the Lynx from
Oh,
Romilly.
the new Lynx. This
Yeah.
is honor. Can I get a picture with you?
Yeah, sure, I guess. Of course.
And as he takes a picture, you feel a hand in your pocket.
She kind of like looks down. It's like,
And you see Icky there. Just hand fully in like your bag.
I
hi.
just want to lead with it's not what it looks like.
Right.
Would you believe there was a spider and it crawled right into your pocket? And I just thought maybe, you wouldn't want that in there. So I was just going to get it out. That's all.
Great. I appreciate that you were going to retrieve it with your hand in the bag of a stranger. You're kind. You're really sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a real humanitarian, I like to think.
I can totally tell for sure.
Yeah, just have that aura about me.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're having this conversation, you see two envelopes like fly out of the elevators, and like as they land in front of your faces, they kind of look at each other and like form into one large envelope, and it has the same message as you've heard previously.
I accept.
All right, and you see a glowing path as the envelope disperses. You see a glowing path illuminate in front of you. down the elevators and to the commons area of the parade.
I just look down. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go. I do hope that you found that spider that you were looking for, and I'll see you around, I guess.
Yeah, I'll catch you later.
And then you just walk side by side towards the parade's commons area. And on that note, we are going to take a short break. Oh, welcome back from our break. I hope you enjoyed. We're going to get right back into it, picking up where we left off, and everyone is slowly making their way towards the parade's common area. The first few to arrive are Cassie, Levy, and Icky, with Smo not that far behind. And as you enter the commons area, you just see a bunch of very busy like interns like running last minute decorations back and forth. You see a couple are like feverishly painting the parade, the float for not Domino, the parade float for Romilly, painting one of the moons red because they completely forgot that's what happened to your planet. And they're like doing it feverishly, blowing on it to that it dries in time. And that's all going down as Cassie, Icky, basically everyone except for Pete it meets in the commons area.
Cassie kind of enters. She's like very clearly like deep breath, ready to make a good first impression. I think she'll go right over to like Icky, and just kind of like stick out her hand and be like, "Hi, I'm Cassie. It's so nice to meet you. You're one of the other Linx, right?"
Icky is gonna shake her hand back and be like, "Yeah, that's me," while also subtly rolling a perception check to see what she's got on her.
Oh, not perception. You would roll sleight of hand.
Either way, 1 + 4, so 5. Really nailing it today, guys.
Yeah, Cassie, you like totally notice you shaking your hand in one and like hand fully in your bag in the other.
Is this a normal greeting on your planet?
Yes. The elves of Herverd believe that the best way to get to know a person is to see what's inside of their pocket. So this is just, it's a bonding ritual, if you will.
Lavera kind of like overhears this. She walks up. She's like, "Oh, did you have a spider in your bag too?"
A what?
Spider. We met earlier, and her hand was real deep in my bag because I had a spider in there.
Oh.
Icky finds the most mundane thing in the room and suddenly finds it fascinating.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Cassie. She'll stick her hand out to Levi as well.
It's like, "Hi, I'm Levi. Nice to meet you."
Oh, that's such a pretty name.
Well, thank you. I got it from my mom, so appreciate it.
I'm from Celestine. Where are you guys from?
Dynamo.
From Romilly. Oh,
sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, I'm Smo. Hi.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yo, you too. Yeah.
Yeah. And on that's like a little piece of silence. You see Pete walk through the door, absolutely drenched in sweat, breathing heavy, and takes a level of exhaustion for how far you've had to walk from the basically outer ring of the city to the center.
Are you okay?
Hi.
Hi,
Hi.
hi.
Hey.
I'm Cassie. Sticks her hand out again.
Pete shakes your hand and says, "I'm Pete.
Nice to meet you.
Not used to pavement. Hooves, you know."
Yeah.
You tread shoes.
What?
Do they make satyr shoes?
They should. No?
Are they like horseshoes?
I feel like it
I
might conflict
mean,
with hooves.
Horses wear shoes.
Do they?
I mean, some
do.
do.
I don't know any horses.
That's fair. That's fair. Do you? Are you okay? Can we like help you? You look a little.
I'm fine. I've been tired before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you need like water? I just got like this magic water thing. Or
Oh,
well,
I
I
got
didn't get
water.
it. My sister got it, but she gave it to me.
I've got plenty of water. Thank you, though.
Okay.
And with that, you see like the sea of busy people kind of parts, like the Red Sea, as a demure older woman with like she has almost like dark roots and like blonde hair kind of cut into like a bit of a pixie cut. She has this long floor length gown with flowers sewn into it, the trim of it. She has this kind of flower piercing in the center of her chest. And you recognize this oh my gosh, her garment as traditional Abran garb worn for special occasions. You immediately recognize her as Laurel, the last Linx. And as she approaches you, you can smell the saccharine sweetness of her perfume as it floods your senses. Hello, I believe you are the new Linx of Alakazam. Thank you so much for coming here.
Cassie will do a kind of like curtsy and be like, "Hi, it's such an honor to meet you. I'm Cassie, Cassie Sterling."
Cassie Sterling, I remember that.
Nervous
And she
curtsies after.
Oh, Smoke curtsies after. Okay. She curtsies back at you.
Hi, I'm Lavira of Romilly. It's an honor to meet you.
Iki kind of bows awkwardly and is like, "Hi, I'm Iki."
Pete also bows.
Like she bows at every one of you, and she says to Lavira Augusti, it's wonderful to meet you. I've heard so much about you from your parents.
Yes, and it's actually Lavira Atlanti.
Oh, that's my mistake. I was unaware.
Oh, no, it's that's kind of a thing. So yeah, but so nice to finally meet you in person. I've heard so much about you.
And she like does a double take at Pete, like, oh dear, are you all right?
I'm fine.
Like, you look like you've been to hell and back.
Oh, just the flower fields. It's a long walk.
Oh, there's a shuttle.
A what?
There's a shuttle.
What's a shuttle?
There's like this kind of I forget you're from the Stumpwood, not so much technology out there. It's this kind of craft that will take you back and forth with very few stops. Never mind. Vermeer. And you see this halfling kind of like bounce between people's legs to like appear at her side, like, yes, Laurel. Oh gosh, as he sees you. I'll be right back. And he comes back with this kind of like bottle of pale yellow bubbling liquid. Not yellow, like pale yellow bubbling liquid. And is like, this is tonic of the Crimson Bison. It will make you feel a lot better. Here you go.
Pete takes it and just immediately downs the whole thing.
Yeah. Your level of exhaustion is completely relieved, and you sprout these like brilliant white like dove wings from your back. Vermeer's like, it's a side effect. The distributor is working on it. They're ornamental. You can't fly, unfortunately.
It gives you wings.
Thank you.
Yeah. Laurel turns to you and says, I would love to have more time to chat with you all after the parade. We have a scheduled brunch in the castle, but I do have to go. The parade is about to start. I think you will all do wonderfully. I'll see you soon. And she excuses herself to make her way to the front of the parade. Is there anything you guys want to do before you start the parade?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Cassie's just like muttering self-affirmations.
So hot air balloons dot the sky amidst magical fireworks that shine as brightly in the clear sky as stars do at night. You pass by massive floats, each representing your homeworlds, the twin planets Arborea and Celestine, adorned with lush greenery and pristine decorations respectively. A surge of red and yellow lights. Light and fog imitates the fire and smoke of dynamo. Feats of beautiful architecture and sculptures honor the studious Herbert, and warm, soft colors illustrate the nurturing planet of Romilly. As you stand on your float, you pass the VIP section, where your family stand right behind the barricade. Smo, your sisters wave a hand-painted banner with your face made out of tiny hands. Cassie, your sister, waves a Celestine flag and calls out your name excitedly. Your parents, more reserved with their excitement and feelings, do sort of like smile, nod, wave to you as you pass. In addition to your families, the most important people in the realm find attendance in the VIP section. You see representatives of your homeworlds, including your parents, Levi, not in the flesh, but in hologram form.
She like looks excited, then she's like puts her hand down really fast, like to compose herself.
The parade ends directly at the foot of a castle constructed out of beautiful glazed glass that from the outside looks more like a conservatory than a castle. Vermeer climbs the float with surprising agility and says, "Thanks one and all for coming out today. I present to you the new Linx of Alakazam," and shoves the mic in. Let me do a quick roll. In Levi's hand to give a speech.
Oh, hello.
I'm just gonna quickly cast guidance on Levi. Put my hand on her shoulder and give her a plus 1d4 to charisma checks.
Rad. Go ahead.
Sweet. I can talk now?
Yes.
Okay. Hello all. We are so thrilled and honored that we were chosen to represent all of you as the new Linx, and we hope that we can do everything in our power to bring peace to all of our respective lands once again. Thank you.
Roll a performance check. I believe that is charisma, but you might have a specific modifier for your performance.
All right.
It's on your character sheet.
Oh, I mean, this is already going well. Let's see. I got a 21.
Ooh, you hear the crowd roar. They are moved by your speech. Is that with the additional guidance?
I got a 17, and then I got a 4 plus 4.
Oh, and with the guidance, how much guidance did you... Actually, you don't have to use the guidance now. You could use that later. Is that correct?
Let me just...
I believe it only lasts for like a minute.
Oh, just kidding. So I would use that now.
Yeah, it's concentration up to a minute, and then it's any one ability check.
Can you roll the guidance for me? Just see how much. Let's just see how much she's blown this speech out of the park.
You're really eating out of the palm of my hands with that speech. Where'd dice go? Am I rolling it, or is it?
Oh, I think Pete rolls it. No.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Okay. 1.
So that's like, that'd be a 22 for persuasion or for the performance.
Yeah.
Like, you see that any doubts on how any of you will perform as Linx are completely eradicated with how beautiful and moving Lavira's speech was. And as you enter the castle, you walk through the double doors, and you immediately know that there must be some heavy illusionary magic going on, because from the inside there is a lot more privacy than just like clear glass should allow. And it really truly is a conservatory, with most free spaces being occupied by plants. It looks more like a jungle. It would look more like a jungle if everything wasn't so well maintained. 2 grand staircases frame this huge vermilion flower bud that looks like it could bloom any day now. And even though you've only been in Abra for a short amount of time, you have seen this image basically everywhere, on t-shirts, keychains, the flag, etc. And you know it as the Bud of Hope. It's important to the people of Abra because it's the first thing that grew here after the Battle of Chaos, and they take it as a sign, as saying that Abra would have life once again.
Pete is immediately and very distracted by the plants.
Let's see. So you are led up this staircase, one of the staircases, to this room, which, again, conservatory, many plants, very beautiful. And there's a long table that's set with like a few courses of meals. And you all take your places, and Laurel enters and sits at the head of the table. Thank you all for coming. I heard your speech, Livira. Absolutely astonishing. I'm sure the people of Alakazam, Abra specifically, they were the only ones to really see it at this moment, are absolutely blown away.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting it, but I appreciate that.
You see before you, there's like a feast of like flower-themed foods. If they don't have flowers actually baked into them, they are shaped like flowers. Like, this is a traditional Abra meal. I really hope you enjoy.
Cassie will go take a seat at the table, but kind of doesn't want to touch anything because everything's so pretty and she doesn't know what she can and can't touch. So she's just kind of like glancing around, ready to take her cues from the rest of them.
Pete immediately starts eating.
Yeah, Iki shows none of Cassie's restraint. She is all in there. She is not following rules. She is shoving buns in her in her bag.
Jeez. Okay. Like, oh, I didn't realize you were all so hungry. I would have brought you some like refreshments at the beginning of the parade preparations if I had known.
It's all right.
We're fine.
Yeah.
This is very thoughtful. She's seeing the rest of them indulge themselves just completely. She's like, yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna take some food. I am definitely not the disturbance here.
And you see her like straighten her posture, and as she's eating says, this is a brunch in your honor, but we do have a lot of important business to get to. And we would love to have you on your way before way before dark. And as the new Linx, you are now privy to information not available to the public. And we're going to start off easy and then work our way up for the more important tasks that will be a part of your requirements as a Linx. So the methods by which you were selected by your homeworlds are not part of Linx tradition. Traditionally, every Linx, when nearing retirement, would go on their own journey to choose a successor. However, a series of events occurred, making that tradition impossible. Every Linx has something called a channel that helps them focus the wild magic energy. Often it's an arcane focus your predecessor has that they teach you how to use. Historically, with 5, wild magic surges were uncommon, but now we do not have 5 active ones. Oh, did you want to say something, Cassie?
I was just, I heard, never mind. You talk.
Yeah. During the Battle of Chaos, Blossom sacrificed herself and her channel in order to save Alakazam. Shortly after, we heard experts from Dynamo begin reporting a global cooling phenomenon. With reports of wild magic surges across the realm becoming more and more frequent, we didn't have the time to grieve. So we did something in hindsight we probably shouldn't have. We split up our responsibilities. Estrella volunteered to train our future successors, and I stayed here to recover. I was injured during the battle, and I also helped rebuild Abra. Oh, were you raising? Sorry, Kenna, were you raising your hand?
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's sorry, Blake just got a rapid or a positive rapid test. It's fine though. Just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna need to get tested at some point today. That's all.
Okay. Where was I?
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem. Estrella volunteered to train our future successors. I stayed here to recover and help rebuild Abra. Calypso began working on a device to help track the surges, and Whistle went off world on missions. That worked for a while until it didn't. There was an accident, and Estrella and her channel were absorbed by a groaning maw. The creature unfortunately escaped into the timeless forest and was never seen again. This is a lot to take in, especially on your first day. Please stop me at any time if you have any questions. Like, okay. Yes.
So the channels,
Yes.
you don't happen to have those, do you?
Unfortunately, I have my own. Someone make a perception check.
Ooh, Cassie will definitely make that.
Mm-hmm.
I can also.
Yeah.
12.
13.
You see this thing in the center of her chest. It looks like a flower. It looks kind of misshapen, but you can't really tell why. I have my own channel, and she touches it, and she's just like, but I don't know how much longer it will last. And as she takes her hand away, you see one of the petals just fall off onto the table. I've been handling a lot of wild magic on my own, and I've been doing my best, but I don't think it can handle much more. I was a young ambitious kid, and I made the mistake of tying my channel to my life force. I'm nearing the end of my days. We don't have a lot of time with it. But I guess enough about me. I should probably get to the rest of the channels.
There's no way to like unbind them?
I could, but I don't know what would happen if I can't tie it to another one.
Another channel or another person?
Another channel and person. Like typically with mine, we tried something new and it required at least one other channel for it to work.
Yeah. And the other channels we don't.
Well, one was in the creature that escaped into the timeless forest, but the timeless forest is kind of an interesting place. Time isn't there, or it is all at once. The consensus on that fact was always in flux. There wasn't any reports of wild magic fallout immediately on Celestine immediately after Estrella was absorbed. So we assumed if she was still alive, but if she wasn't, her channel was at least still intact. That was until fairly recently with the events on Celestine. So at this point, we believe that there is a chance her channel might, if be intact, might be damaged. Or hopefully not destroyed. We're hoping it's not destroyed. And during a Lynx's period as a Lynx, we do have breaks. We can't do this job all day, every day. We will literally fall apart. During a rest period, I'm not sure if any of you are privy to this or understand this information, but Whistle was in the Whistling Winds, a part of our world Kadabra, and she got stuck during their regular strong wind period. One day we got word that a trading ship was destroyed in the winds, which is not a very common occurrence. So we checked it out, and it seemed like the wind strength, like strong period, was a lot more strong than it should have been. We phoned in with our experts in Romilly, and everything on Romilly was fine. So we assumed Whistle's channel was still fine. It was ruled a wild magic surge that would eventually fizzle out. It didn't. Years passed, and it seemed like the winds only got stronger. But thankfully, during that time, are you know about the transport pads, the ones that you came here on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Calypso actually created the concept, and during the time that we were all active Linxes, we used prototypes to send communications and like items from areas we frequented. Not very large items. It was a relatively new type of technology. So we were able to communicate with Whistle behind the winds for at least a short period of time. And during all of that, Calypso kind of threw herself into research to try to figure out how we could get through the winds to Whistle, because we needed someone that could go off-world. She asked her parents on Cloud Fountain. Cloud Fountain is not a part of... Actually, can anyone roll a history check on the name Cloud Fountain?
I can do it.
I'll roll.
Yeah, it might not be a place that any of your characters
That's
are.
a nat one. I don't know anything.
I got it.
Might not be a place that any of your characters are like specifically would know that much about.
Never heard of it.
21. 17 plus 4.
Ooh, great. On that 21, Lavira, you know that Cloud Fountain used to be a part of Alakazam, but no longer is. And the planet that took the place or took the active role in Alakazam that Cloud Fountain once held was Hervard. Do you share that information with the group?
Yes, I share that with the rest of the group.
Very good, Lavira. Yes, Cloud Fountain is no longer a part of Alakazam, but at the time it was. And Calypso was the daughter of the leaders there. And they declined and helped to control the winds. She spent most of her days, Calypso spent most of her days in the archive, trying to come up with some sort of device that could help us get there. Until the day the archive sunk out of nowhere. We searched for survivors for days. We did the best we could, but the structure was so unstable. I called it. I sent message to Cloud Fountain, and they didn't take it well. At that point, I was the last active Linx left. I took some comfort in the fact that maybe Whistle was still alive and well. I mean, we didn't hear anything from Romilly for a while about any wild magic surges. But it seems very recently that has changed. Is that correct, Lavira?
Yeah. Out of nowhere, our 2 twin moons, one of them turned red, leaving everything in its wake completely unfertile. The soil is dry and unable to grow any type of crops. And now we're having to farm on half the land, but twice as much output. So you can imagine how difficult that might be.
Well, and some other news. With the death of Calypso, Cloud Fountain not only seceded from Alakazam, we never were able to really communicate with them with what is going on there. We don't know if there have been any wild magic surges. If there haven't been, then we know for a fact that her channel might still be intact and possibly is still in the archive.
Underwater?
Unfortunately, yes. When it was reported when I sent message to Cloud Fountain that Calypso was dead, they held a funeral procession, and their funeral processions are very different. They essentially flooded the area where of her final resting place.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, someone probably needs to go get that channel underwater.
Yes. That would be ideal. So what your first, I guess, task, or maybe you can call it a quest, as the Linx would be to get the missing channel. And there's a chance, if ever so slight, ever so small, that Estrella's might be damaged, but we can work with that. We can fix it. Unfortunately, that would mean you would have to enter the Timeless Forest, which is unfortunate. But I believe you can do it. I really need you to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can handle that. One step at a time, you know.
Is there anywhere that you recommend that we start first?
Well, the Sunken Archive is in Endelium, which is the closest area to here. It'll take you about maybe an hour or two to reach. I have a carriage set up front for you to take. Vermeer will be your guide there.
Awesome. Well,
But before you leave, I do have to present you with this. And she takes out from like a sack, this like pink pearlescent, almost like a glass head of garlic, and she puts it in front of you. This is a garlic's. It will help you get out of a bind. Think of it as a wild magic training wheels.
oh, okay. That's festive. Thank you.
There are 10 charges on it, but use them wisely, please.
We will. Lavera takes it and stows it away in her bag.
Yeah. You are welcome to say goodbyes to your families. As sent in the original invitation, as your acceptance to a Linx, you are your parents and families are allowed to stay within the castle for as long as they want to stay in Abra. Would you like to say, you can, I assume this is me as a DM saying, I assume you say goodbye to your families before you go, or is there anything else you want to do specifically before you leave either Abra or the castle?
Can Cassie like catch Laurel real quick, just kind of like privately aside?
Oh, sure. Like, hi, is there something you wanted to talk to me about?
Oh, I was just thinking about what you said earlier about, you know, your life force and being tied to your So I imagine we're on a sort of time crunch here.
Yes. Unfortunately, I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this. We thought we would be done with the search years ago, hundreds of years ago, but it's not really worked out in that way. This quest is a lot more dangerous than we had anticipated it being.
But you're seeing like healers and stuff about it?
There's nothing I can do. I'm almost 700 years old. You realize that she is a dryad, and dryads don't even typically live this long, so she is really pushing it on her days.
Okay. I'm sorry to bother you about that.
Oh, it's no problem at all. You know, you remind me of her. Estrella.
I do.
Yeah. I think it's the glowing thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm a follower of hers, or I am. It's complicated.
You see she starts to like tear up a little bit. She's like, well, I think you have a good head on your shoulders. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else anyone wants to do before you set off?
Pete's gonna say bye to their family. They're definitely just like gonna go home right after this. They don't like being in the city any more than Pete does.
Okay. Well, you actually didn't come with your family.
Oh, all right then.
Smo is crying harder than the sister that was having her mental breakdown as it leaves.
And you see like your sister that wanted to, it's like, I want you to be safe and don't get hurt, and if you get hurt, get better fast.
I'm just nodding while snot falls down my face.
And you get in the carriage, waving goodbye to your family, your guardians, and such. And you can take a short rest on the carriage ride. It's about an hour or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we put that in D&D Beyond, right?
I don't know if anyone has taken damage, so I'm not really quite sure if it matters.
I can recover that level 2 spell slot I spent earlier.
That's correct.
Okay. So that means we do all have to take short rests, right? Since
Yes.
Pete is.
I mean, like, you are just sitting there not doing anything.
Sweet.
Yeah, short rest is just like an hour of chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Great.
On the ride, Cassie's like kind of just looking around being like, so we're all working together now. That's super fun. I'd love to get to know you all better.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Lavera kind of in like a just offhand comments like, should we do like icebreakers? I've heard.
Pete hears icebreaker and just like immediately really excited goes, oh my god, yes, I love icebreakers. What's everybody's favorite kind of berry?
Oh, I was so joking. Okay.
Smo doesn't know what ice is, and he's just tearily nodding.
Mine are blueberries.
I like strawberries.
I like blackberries.
Before the wild magic surge, I really liked raspberries, but we haven't been able to grow them lately. So.
Oh yeah, we on my planet we've been able to grow them, but they kind of started eating people. So yeah.
The wild magic surges are that bad where you guys are?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly out of the cities and stuff, so it's like only like every once in a while something like that happens. But yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of very bad where I'm from. But that's why I'm here to fix it, and I will fix it and fix everything that it's ruined in the process. But
Okay.
Is it not bad where you're from?
No, Hervard has had defenses against the wild magic surges for a while. I thought that was more common. I've never been directly affected by them.
No. You're lucky.
Sounds like.
Smo, what's your favorite kind of berry?
What's a berry?
It's a fruit with a single seed.
Does that mean strawberries aren't berries because they have like a bunch of seeds on the outside?
That is technically true, but I think they're
gosh.
generally considered berries for like culinary purposes.
There's different definitions of berries.
Mm-hmm.
No idea.
Yeah, plant naming is complicated because almost every kind of plant matter has like names that are used for cooking, and then names that are used for like classification as like type, and they're often different because there's some things that are like the word fruit means the part of a plant that like can help the plant reproduce, but then also there are things like we use the term fruit in cooking for like sweet foods, but then there are things that are fruits that are not sweet that we treat much more like vegetables, which is a word that doesn't even have a culinary, or it doesn't even have a like botanical meaning. It's very interesting.
Smo?
I take it you're a druid.
I am a druid, yes.
Since we're all gonna be like potentially dying together, I figure it might be beneficial to talk about what we can do and what our strengths are, maybe.
That is a good idea. One thing I can do is this, and I open up my hands and I cast Goodberry and produce 10 berries, 2 each of everyone's favorite. I make 4 blueberries so that Smoke can try blueberries.
I would like that.
Smo, what do you eat on your planet? Seems like everything that you touch might go.
It does. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And how do you? Is it rude for me to ask how you eat then?
No, you can ask.
How do
Will
you
I answer?
eat?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm a cleric. I can heal. I do a lot of star-based magic. Yeah. Any.
I'm on
what
fire.
About you, Joe?
You sure are.
I
Got
pass out
that.
the berries. By the way, these will provide complete nourishment for a day for 1 berry, and also heal 1 hit point.
Oh wow.
Great. I'm gonna
Nice.
save these. I'm a sorcerer. It's, honest work, I guess. I can make things happen.
That's really cool.
I
Thanks.
can do this, and then Iki pulls a pork bun out of her pocket dimension.
Yeah.
What
What
is
does that look like when she
Yeah.
pulls stuff out of her like invisible wrist pocket?
It looks like sleight of hand. It looks like she flips her hand over, and there's just something there.
Oh, like a magician.
You could definitely say it's like a magician.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
Pete has no experience with stage magic and fully just interprets that as actually magical.
And as you kind of get more comfortable with each other, you notice that the speed of the carriage has slowed down significantly as you arrive in Endelion, a previously bustling city, once renowned across the realm for being the home of the archive, the largest library in all of Alakazam. Now a ghost town. The buildings that once were frequented by Alakazam's best and brightest lay abandoned, rotting from untreated water damage. This previously great city reduced to now a sleeper town, just a rest stop for travelers on their way to and from Abra. And as Vamir drops you off at a lodging, one of the few buildings obviously occupied, the grounds are well maintained, and you hear voices of guests chatting eagerly from the outside. The sign reads Presto B&B, but like local hooligans have defaced it, so now it reads D Presto. And Vermeer like clutches his cheek and his eyes shift back and forth and says, "It was lovely meeting you today, but I really must be going now. Good luck on your adventures."
Thank you.
And he he goes with snapping his reins and goes back into the city.
Oh, nice digs for the Linx.
Icky is just like really confused. Like this looks like a perfectly comfortable spot to her.
Cassie is taking this moment to kind of pull on her what's it called? Why am I blanking on my own inventory? Her chainmail on over her blouse and stuff, because we're gonna maybe die soon, and she wants to be prepared.
Pete looks over and says, "Do you think we're gonna get in a bar fight?"
I don't know,
hope so.
strangers.
Good
Just
point.
say I hope so.
Pete starts to put on his leather armor.
And as you enter the B&B, the smell of just warm baked goods floods your senses, and people are drinking not only coffee, but also others are drinking mead. It's a very busy establishment.
Iki is immediately taking advantage of how busy and crowded it is and trying to steal some food.
Does
Steal
Cassie
food or
see her
pickpocket?
do this?
Oh,
Cass, actually, you have to probably roll in perception to see if you.
Yeah, I also want to roll perception on that.
Yeah. Perception against what? What would Iki roll against that? What counters perception?
I think I would say either probably sleight of hand.
Oh, math.
That's what I would.
yeah. I'll roll sleight of hand.
Yeah.
Well, that's a 27 for perception.
I rolled a 24.
15 for sleight of hand.
Oh yeah, they totally see you do this.
Icky.
Icky.
Please.
Grab me something.
No.
Pete said do it.
No. You're going to get us in trouble. We haven't been here for 5 minutes.
So if I wait 10, I can do it?
No.
Icky sits in a chair and pouts, and she's definitely stealing something before we leave.
Should we try and
He just does a silent prayer to the stars.
Pete sits down next to Icky and says, "I think it's really cool how good you are at taking stuff from people with money."
Icky says, "Thank you. I'm glad somebody sees my value."
There's a time and a place, Icky.
The time is now. The place is here. It's a bar.
should we grab a table? Maybe sit down and eat before.
I think Pete and Nikki have grabbed the table. If you guys want to go get us food or rooms or something.
Yeah, we're gonna pay for shit while we're here.
Cassie is gonna go look for somebody in charge.
You see a surprisingly muscular, elven man running this bed and breakfast. He casually hoists a massive tray piled high with food and drinks across the room. It gets nothing. He has warm, dark skin and kind brown eyes that shine sweetly, if a bit skeptically, at your behavior. And behind horn-rimmed glasses that kind of slide below his down his nose every now and then. He's wearing this long sleeve shirt that's completely clean, rolled up to his elbows, and he has long dark hair tied in a low bun, secured with something that looks like a golden winged snake.
Classy.
Wow.
Ooh.
Cassie is gonna go fucking talk to him. Hi, excuse me. Is this your establishment?
Yeah, how can I help you?
We were looking to maybe get some food. My friends found a table. And possibly some rooms.
Rooms. We are pretty booked. It's peak season for Abra. That means it's peak season for us too.
Oh, right. It's just we were sent here by Laurel, where the new Linx, or possibly the new Linx, assuming we don't die, which is a very real possibility.
Uh-huh. You want to roll persuasion?
What's my persuasion modifier?
Or is it persuasion or?
I mean,
yeah, persuasion.
Okay. 16.
16. What's he say to you? Let's see. I actually do have like an idea. Let's see. We have a smaller room, but I can offer to you on a discounted price. Do you have 15 silver?
Well, Cassie's inventory says she has no money, but I'm not sure if that's right.
Pete has 4 gold left.
Hmm.
All of the money in the stump wood was gathered up for Pete for this trip.
Like, nice. We can get
I
you a room. Rhea. And you see, like, kind of coming out from behind like a counter is like an awkward half giant that stands like kind of before you. Like kind of slouches actually before you. Like out of habit, they bend their neck and slump forward to preemptively avoid hitting their head on a surprise door frame. They have soft, like light grayish skin, and though their face is a little bit bluish from like makeup, their hair is pulled up to keep it out of their face and pulled into 2 buns to keep it cute. Like, hi, I'm Rhea. I can get you your room. I think you probably want to eat first.
Yep.
Cool. Check-in is not right now though. It is in a couple hours. You got here a little early. So is that okay with you?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Let's see. I can take your order. What would you like to order here?
Cassie.
And she's now standing in front of all of you.
Cassie will kind of look around, like once again taking her cues from everybody else.
Is there a menu?
Yeah.
We don't really have a menu here. We really just cook with what we have. The best seller on our menu is milk toast.
What's your favorite?
That.
What's your favorite boiled plant?
A boiled plant. I mean, we do. Yeah, would you count legumes as boiled plants? I mean, we kind of like beans.
Yeah, I'll take beans. No milk though, please.
No milk. I mean, I think there might be some milk in the gravy.
Do you have anything that doesn't have milk in it?
Let's see. Milk toast. And she like calls over the owner. It's like, yeah. It's like they want stuff that doesn't have milk in it. And he like points out a couple things on like their personal menu that they have like on a little notepad, and they're just like, we have elk steaks.
I'll take that.
Cool. Is that for everybody, or anyone want to try?
I would like to try the milk toast.
Iki seconds that.
Great. It's milk toast's favorite.
I'll also take the milk toast then.
Yeah. Yeah. And she puts in the orders, and she's kind of like taking a liking to y'all. It's like, so what are you here for?
We're the new Linx. We're gonna go jump in a lake soon.
The lake? You mean the archive?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are hardcore. Like that place is like super haunted.
Oh,
Haunted?
Haunted. That was kind of left out of our.
Well, like that's what we call it here. Like a lot of people that go in. I mean, like every year we get links that try to go to the archive, and either if they come out, they say that they were attacked by ghosts, and usually not all of them come back. But the ones that don't come back at all, like we just never see them again.
fun.
Where I'm from is pretty haunted too.
Good to know.
Oh, good.
But like, I can totally take you guys there after you eat. I know where it is. I'm from here, a local, I guess.
That would be so helpful.
Really helpful, yeah.
Yeah. Like, do any of you know like magic? It's kind of a deep dive. Are you like really strong swimmers?
I'm a
I'm an
cleric.
excellent runner.
A bunch of
Okay.
us are spellcasters.
Okay,
I,
and you
I
guys.
don't-
Oh, awesome! You guys kind of look ready to go do it. So, I'll like when your food comes out after you eat, I'll just take you there.
Thank you.
Great.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I do have like I'm on break right now, so like I do have to. I'll like take a second break. But just like don't tell him like milk toast. Like he's nice, but like he can be kind of a hard ass sometimes.
Yeah.
We
Well,
won't tell anyone.
Yeah,
lips are sealed.
I can't imagine why it would be a problem for you to provide such excellent customer service.
and you see like milk toast comes over, just like Rhea, we have customers. You're like I was on break. I'm coming. And she like runs over and like gets your food, and you guys enjoy this wonderful meal. The milk toast is absolutely mouth-watering. It's very light and fluffy. It's sweet but not too sweet. It's unlike anything you've ever had before.
Believe it or not, this is actually not the first time in D&D specifically I've been to a milk-themed restaurant.
It's really incredible.
Like, I mean, I can take you now.
Oh, yeah, if you guys are ready to go, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, totally.
Ready?
Let's
Give
do
our
this.
compliments
Like-
to the chef.
Milk toast, I'm going out. It's like, you just took a and like she's already gone before like you can say you can't go. It's like,
What a mood.
so she leads you out around the corner down this long path to kind of like this wooded area. And as you come through the clearing, you see there's like a very, very large lake, and there's like a little spire poking out from the center of it. It gets to a point, and Rhea's just like, okay, I mean, you guys can try swimming down there. I don't think are any of you guys like mermaids?
No, so I don't
No.
I don't know why or how I
Mhm.
obtained this, but I'm
Mhm.
looking in my inventory and I have a water skin. So I guess
Can you
I
explain
Oh,
what
yeah.
that is?
It's
A
like
water
it's like
skin
a
is-
canteen.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
thinking it was maybe like a wetsuit. Excellent.
Yeah, no,
Never
it's
mind
like
then.
an animal skin that has been like sewn to like usually an organ of some sort that's just been sealed to contain water.
Delicious.
So yeah, it's just a canteen made of skin.
That's not as useful as I wanted it to be. Okay, never mind then.
Cassie will kind of turn to the others at this point and be like, by the way, if this place is like really haunted, I feel like I should let you know now. Sometimes I see things that other people can't see. So if I freak out, that's why.
Creepy.
What should we do if you freak out?
I mean, well, from what I can tell, the things that I see that other people can't see are real things. So what? But like, no, a lot of people don't believe me. But yeah,
When you-
if I'm freaking out, that usually means something's trying to hurt us. Okay?
When you freak out, are you any good at giving instructions?
I mean, I'm not. It's not like a huge like freak out. I mean, I don't freak out any more than any other normal person would when something is like freaky and attacking them.
Okay.
Hmm.
Then just let us know where to point our weapons, and we will try and hit the thing that's attacking you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
We got your back. So, who among us, swimmers, non-swimmers, how are we getting down there?
Swimming.
Can everyone make a nature check? Let me know if you get above a 15.
Nat 20.
Ooh.
Yes.
So 22.
17.
What is it?
Pete, on that nat 20, you look down at the kind of the shore and you see that there's like quite a bit of froth and bubbles coming specifically from like seaweed. You think that if you somehow ingested this, it might actually you might be able to breathe underwater.
Can I just say, like, I know that plant?
Yeah.
I just like look in the water and go, oh, cool. Grab some of the seaweed and just like munch on it. And I swallow it and say, this will help. This makes it so you can breathe underwater. We use this back in the Stumpwood when we want to go swimming in the caves.
Oh,
I pick
Cool.
some more and start handing it out.
Great. Says you just take it down raw, like no seasoning or any.
I mean, if you want to season it, I don't carry any seasonings.
Anybody like salt,
I'm-
pepper?
I
Nothing?
think if you just plug your nose and swallow it real quick, you won't even taste it.
Oh, wait. Icky has cheese in her pocket. Or I have cheese in my pocket dimension. Would that help?
Honestly, I'll take the cheese. I'll take the
Alrighty.
cheese.
Icky pulls out the cheese from her pocket dimension.
All right, sweet. Okay. Sorry. Royal palate. I don't do stuff off the ground very easily. So back we go.
Pete cringes
So I
watching
was
somebody just
underwater
like take
already.
perfectly good seaweed and put cheese on it.
Cassie just swallows it.
Like, Smo, did you actually eat the seaweed, or are you just trying to like go without it?
Water first, seaweed after. Once I realize I'm not breathing.
Smo, please take the seaweed.
Please come back.
Please.
Please.
Yeah. And as he comes out of the water, like it kind of starts evaporating off of him in like steam.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Takes the seaweed back into the water.
Icky's kind of like, is he gonna be like okay down there?
All we can do is trust.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I think let's follow him and find
I'll
out.
be fine.
Icky shoves down the seaweed and dives in.
Yeah.
I'm just going
Cassie.
to assume, like, as a DM here, I'm going to assume you guys like tried to figure out how to swim down and realized, hey, it's actually really difficult to swim deep without stuff to weigh you down.
Yeah.
Cassie weighed down by her chainmail. Like everyone else kind of shoves like sand or like rocks into their pockets to like weigh them down. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I use my grappling hook? I
You
also have a
can.
grappling hook in my pocket dimension.
You can
Cassie
use your
also
route.
has like a fucking war hammer.
Actually, you know what? I want to see how well you're able to do this. Would this be acrobatics or dex?
Ooh, I
To just see
do.
how fucking cool this is.
I wanna roll acrobatics just because that's where my highest modifier is.
Okay, roll acrobatics.
23.
Oh my god.
Yes.
With a 23 at acrobatics, it's almost like you do this regularly, and it's kind of strange because you don't have any use to use a grappling hook underwater, but somehow you're able to shoot directly through some of like the broken glass of the structure and
Yes.
pull yourself through the water like torpedo style.
That's
Cassie, yeah?
so fucking cool. That's
I'm
all.
so cool. Fuck yeah.
Pete's gonna look around for a big rock. So
Oh,
rock
big
table.
rock. Let's see. Rock table, pulling it up. What do you find? Roll D100.
41.
41?
Yep.
You find like I guess among the pond stones that would normally be there, you find like a clump of like iron pyrite. You're not quite sure how it could be here because you haven't heard that Endelion even had some sort of like mine, but you think maybe this was dropped by a previous Linx hopeful.
Mhm. All right. Yeah, I just hold on to that and just like walk along the floor of the lake.
Okay. Let's see. And as you enter through the broken glass of the, I'd say you probably enter through the broken glass of the top of the spire rather than trying to go through the front door. It just makes more sense that way. So you swim down through it and you land in like the center of the main entrance. And it's a little bit sad to think that this grand structure used to have basically all of the knowledge of Alakazam, but it's now just reduced to rot and ruin. And as you search the rubble, Cassie, you swear from the corner of your eye, you see movement. And let's see. Nah, I'm not gonna have to make anyone roll for this. A harpoon comes out of nowhere and just slightly grazes your cheek. I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative.
Awesome.
Oh, boy.
Hmm. Ooh.
And we
19.
before we get to that, I'm just gonna say that we will reveal what everyone rolled for initiative at the beginning of episode 2.
Ooh.
Which would be next week for you, which is in a couple of moments for us. So when you see like the episode 2 and we're wearing the same exact outfits, just know this was filmed the same day. We're gonna sign out for today. For today for you, and see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye everyone. Bye.